Hello to the world of KOSMEK. Today we are going to talk about let me show you a little bit more in detail. Today we are talking about the work supports in terms of pneumatic and hydraulic usage. Here in my hands, you can see a long stroke model, and we also have this as standard and in short stroke. But now let us jump into today's presentation. So thank you very much for your today's participation in our webinar about the introduction of our work supports. My name is Nikolai Prüller and I will guide you through today's webinar. In the next 20 minutes, you will hear and learn about the company KOSMEK. You will see how the KOSMEK work supports are unique in its own kind and how you are able to benefit with them in your machining steps. And you will experience the benefits of KOSMEK work supports based on some customer references. Some organizational points up first. You will find this presentation as a downloadable video at www.kosmek.eu and as well as on our YouTube channel, KOSMEK Europe. You can ask us questions directly via the Q&A box from Zoom directly and the Messenger. Depending on how much questions we get, we try to answer them at the end of the session. For any other belonging, please contact us directly at kosmek@kosmek.eu. KOSMEK is the world's leading expert in powered clamping. Due to the limitation from Japanese car manufacturers to 70 bars maximum pressure 40 years ago, KOSMEK developed one of the most innovative technologies for pneumatic and hydraulic work holding solutions like clamping, positioning, and supporting in terms of factory automation, quick mold, and quick die change systems additionally. Since then, KOSMEK has been a continuous market leader in Asia. 8 years ago, the increasing demand on KOSMEK patented low-pressure technology brought the company to Europe. And since then, also our work supports has a unique technology insight, which we want to encounter in today's webinar. So let us start with a basic question, what a work support actually is and where you, as a fixture builder or automation engineer, can benefit of it. So now what actually is a work support? In the following example, you can see the workpiece, which is in this case a resin-made electronic component. You can see here the 3 clamping elements, in this case swing clamps, and you here can see the work supports supporting of each clamping point and additional 3 work supports to avoid any chattering, any deformation or bending of the work pieces. So as you can see now, a work support is needed for 4 crucial points. The first point where a work support is needed is to take over the forces of the clamping points to avoid any bending or deformation for a better quality. The second point where the work support can be used is to minimize the chattering of the workpiece due to the machining force and the load, and again, for a better quality. The third point is for a quicker and more precise change of the workpieces, since we can use them in the automation range and for a more frequent usage of the machining center. And the fourth point would be the creativity in the usage of the work support. Since KOSMEK has various different types of work supports with whether air sensing equipped or long or short stroke, and of course in pneumatic and hydraulic types for most of all needed cases. So, but now the question is, how is a KOSMEK work support able to take over these loads and guarantee you the quality which I already mentioned? Well, let me give you the answer to this with 2 simple words. It is the collet structure. This might not sound much, but we will come to that matter after the next slide. So stay curious. So now let me show you on the next slide the following video of our WNC pneumatic work support and the basic function of the work support. So now let's get into this video. So here you can see our WNC pneumatic type model. Here you can see the picture regarding the deformation if we are using no work support or a work support. So we are avoiding chattering, bending of the workpiece while machining. So now coming to the next step. In this step, here you can see a small fixture equipped with our WNC pneumatic work support. You can see here a general push cylinder and our air sequence valve BWD. So what is happening in the first sequence? In the first sequence, you can see the push cylinder just pressing and bending the workpiece. Once more, it is bended just by the push cylinder. So now what is happening? First, we are now supporting with the work support of the workpiece. And now we are coming to the push cylinder. The push cylinder now tries to bend or clamp, in this case, the workpiece once more. But the work support supports the workpiece so tight that nothing can move again. And this is because we are now in a locked condition, as we can see. The work support and the push cylinder can, for instance, hold the workpiece without any deformation. And here comes the safety factor to a factor, since KOSMEK has a safety factor of 1.2 up to 2 for work supports. And what that means is, in case of clamping force, let's say we have 1 kilonewtons. You need a supporting force of at least 1.5 kilonewtons. And in the best case, which is more recommended than 1.5 kilonewtons, you can use 2 kilonewtons of supporting force on the supporting point against the clamping. So once more, the question, how is the KOSMEK work support able to generate so much supporting forces than other comparable work supports? And once again, the reason for that is the unique collet structure of KOSMEK, to which we are coming now. Now let us have a look at the collet structure of the KOSMEK work support. Here we can see an animated cut view of our LD hydraulic work support. And as we can see here, the collet structure is basically the same for all of our work support types. So in this cut view, we are able to see the plunger on the inside and the piston down here. The green part is the collet structure, and you can see here steel bores on the outer side. And you also have here a large clearance between the collet and the plunger. So now let us hop into the video. So basically we can differ into 2 different sequences when supporting with the work support. So now we can see the hydraulic pressure, the piston is getting pushed up, and now we're touching the workpiece. And as we can see here, we have a plunger spring inside. And now we are pressing the plunger spring completely, and we are compressing the plunger spring completely. So once again, we have a very gentle force of touching to the workpiece of around 3 to 4 newtons. So now the second sequence is starting. As you can see, the hydraulic pressure is rising into the main body and is coming on top of the collet, which means the collet is pressed down by the hydraulic pressure. And once this is done, we are in a complete locked condition. And therefore, the collet is pressing down and again the plunger, so that we are not descending once we are machining or more load is applied. So and now we're coming to the releasing part once more. In this case, you can see here, we only have 1 hydraulic line. So what that means is we are a single acting work support. And for that, if we are stopping to supply the hydraulic pressure, the collet is getting pressed up by the spring we can see here, and the plunger itself is pressed down by the spring, as we can see here. So that means we are a single acting work support. So now let us have a look once more to a detailed part of our collet structure. To summarize the parts we have seen, you can see here the plunger with the plunger spring, the piston with the piston spring, and once more the spring for the collet to get in the released condition. So what else make our work supports unique? You can see here we have a special sealing inside, which allows us for an excellent coolant resistance from the work support. In terms to press down the collet, we have an elastic spacer to press it down more gentle and precise. And since we have a large clearance between the collet and the plunger, and the collet is in is a conical shaped collet, which means if we're pressing down, it is getting pressed via the conical shape onto the plunger, which means we have a strong supporting force on our work support. Now I want to cover our sensing options, which we are coming now. So here you can see what we have seen so far were single acting work supports as previously mentioned. But in some machining processes, you need complete control about lock and release position of the plunger, as well as feedback of the condition to the machining center controller. And you can reach this with two major options of KOSMEK work supports. First possibility is to use KOSMEK double acting work supports. Double acting means the plunger is brought to the workpiece by hydraulic or pneumatic pressure and also is retracted by hydraulic or pneumatic pressure, not just by spring force as in single acting work supports. And this means you can actively control the movement of the plunger. To get the appropriate feedback, KOSMEK has added a lock or release detection by air on the top of the plunger. As we can see here, between the top of the plunger and the plunger collet, you have a small gap, including a sealing. While the plunger is retracted, the air is coming out of the gap. Once the plunger touches the workpiece, the gap is closed against the sealing and air pressure is locked in, which gives you the lock signal to the controller. Important at this type of confirmation is that it works completely independent of the surface quality of the workpiece surface. No air failure can happen due to the rough surfaces like at some competitive work support models. And in order to keep the inside of the work support clean, in very polluted environments, for example, you can add the so-called air purge function. This means the work support is loaded with air pressure on the inside, which is blowing out on the most critical gaps and avoids finest dust and liquids to go inside the work support. And in case of KOSMEK work supports, we have basically two different types of work supports. First would be the spring advance type. This is available for both mediums of the work support, hydraulically or pneumatically. At this type, the plunger is in the ascended state, and once the workpiece is loaded, the work support will support the workpiece once it is loaded. And the second type would be the hydraulic or air advance type. At this type, the plunger is first in a retracted condition as we have previously seen, and once we supply the pressure, the plunger is sent into the workpiece, and once it has touched the workpiece, the plunger is in a locked condition due to the collet structure. As in the beginning mentioned, we have a different stroke ranges, we have short stroke models, we have the standard models, and we have the long stroke models. And as we can see here, we have supporting forces which goes from 0.2 kilonewtons up to 25 kilonewtons. We have sizes with the world's smallest work support from M16 up to M60. We have a pressure range in terms of pneumatic from 5 bar up to 7 to maximum 10 bars, and in hydraulic 70 bars up to 350 high pressure hydraulic. And of course, as we have already encountered, single and double acting models. And for that, I want to give you a quick overview of which different models KOSMEK has to offer. So in the first video, we encountered our WNC, the high power work support. So we also have in pneumatic ranges, the WNA high power rodless work support, which is a very special work support, which we are coming in a little bit time. Our smallest auto backup bin, which can be used for assembly of, let's say, HDD electric components. And in terms of the hydraulic parts, we have already seen the LD work support. We have our flange type, the LC, and in high pressure, the TNC double acting work support, and for low pressure, our LDD work support, which is fairly new. And now coming to the high power rodless work support, please see this slide. So here you can see how it is functioning. We have a rodless work support, which means you can use this cylinder to overcome long supporting distances, since you can use just a simple rod, which will be afterwards gripped by the collet once more. So here you can see it in a release condition, and we have a spring for releasing of the collet away from the rod. So once we are supplying pneumatic pressure, the collet is getting pressed to the rod and is clamped for supporting reasons. So again, we can replace powerful supporting cylinders. We have a supporting force range of up to 6.3 kilonewtons. And once more, we are preventing of dislocation, overloads of cylinders, and deformations of the workpieces. So now I want to show you some application examples from different customers. So here we can see an application example for a steering rod housing. And in this application, you can see that there are 3 nests equipped with here completely with components of the competition. They had coolant infusion in one of the work supports, and therefore they decided to replace this one single work support in one particular nest. This would be this nest on the top. After a while, the customer noticed that tolerances and parts quality of this particular nest are constantly better than all other nests on all fixtures. And when investigating, they found out that KOSMEK work support is more stable and reliable than all other models. So they decided to interchange all work supports on all fixtures to KOSMEK work supports Model T and C, the high pressure, single acting work supports. Now to show you another use case would be from company Makina Center. So here you can see a fixture equipped with pushed cylinders on the top and with our work supports to support of the workpiece. You can see once more that there are 4 nests equipped with work supports for supporting of the workpieces and the pushed cylinders. So another use case, apart from this with the 4 nests, we would have again from company Makina Center another steering rod housing. So here we can see it is equipped completely with KOSMEK components. It is clamped, as we can see here, on the crucial points of the steering rod housing and is supported from down below with the help of the KOSMEK work supports. Since the machining takes place in crucial places, we are supporting this with the work support to avoid any deformation or shattering of the workpiece in the machining process. And for another use case, I want to show you these 2 complete pneumatic fixtures equipped with swing clamps from KOSMEK and once more our high power pneumatic work supports. And for the last slide of today's webinar, I want to show you the range once more of the KOSMEK work supports, which you can find on our website www.kosmek.eu. And I want to show you how this website actually looks. So let me open it right now. So here you can see. Let's start in the home menu. So here you are in the home menu. You can see the different fields which KOSMEK has products to offer. So now let's start in the work clamping system range. Here you can see all of the components. For us, this is interesting, the work supports. We're checking the work supports now. So here you can see a basic principle of a work support, and afterwards here you can see the complete range of KOSMEK work supports. We have the threaded models, we have flange type models, and of course, double acting and pneumatic series. And for today, this is today's presentation. I thank you very much for all of your participation in today's webinar, and I'm gladly looking forward to tomorrow's webinar regarding autonomous machining with the robot and how to achieve it. Then I say thank you for all of your time, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow's webinar. Have a nice day and stay safe, my offer.